One of the grave dangers stemming from our love of sports is that the sports themselves can become too big to fail, indeed too big to even challenge. The result can be an erosion of academic values that are replaced by the value of hero worship and winning at all costs. All involved in intercollegiate athletics must be watchful that programs and individuals do not overwhelm the values of higher education. In the Penn State case, the results were perverse and unconscionable. No price the NCAA can levy will repair the grievous damage inflicted by Jerry Sandusky on his victims. However, we can make clear that the culture, actions, and inactions that allowed them to be victimized will not be tolerated in collegiate athletics.
Matt, the NCAA president today, bringing down those penalties that we described. I want to bring in the callers right now and our panel weigh in too on the basic question if, and there was no perfect answer, but what were the suitable penalties? Now again, there's going to be criminal and civil courts that are going to mete out punishment for the three remaining names here that were involved, from the former president of Penn State to the VP of Business Affairs, as well as the athletic director. But the college itself is going to pay a huge price right now, and given the atrocities that happened to those poor kids over the years, is it right? Let's go to Janie. She's calling us from New Jersey. Janie, what do you have to say?
Well, I am a victim, or I should say a survivor, of child abuse, sexual child abuse, and Sandusky has ruined many children's lives, and I don't think people realize that their lives are ruined way into their future, and they have done that. Sandusky has done that, ruined those children, and now the NCAA is now going to ruin more children's lives by ending football at Penn State. Take that $60 million that they're going to penalize and use that to help the victims.
Well, they are, and thank you for the phone call. That's what that fund has been set up for. It's to help victims of abuse. Now, that's above and beyond whatever financial settlements there's going to be between the college and obviously some of the offenders and those victims that came out at trial. Those are wholly separate. But the $60 million has been set up in a fund to help out prospective victims and programs surrounding it. But let me start around the table, and Dom, I'll start with you. We saw the penalties laid down. Do you think they're fair?
Tough, very tough. I understand the victim perspective, I really do. But I agree with Janie, the caller. You really are, to a degree, and I don't know you as a player at Penn State feel the same way, but you're ruining the lives of these athletes now. If you're rich at the top prospect in the country, football,
which I was, no. Yeah.
Your parents are not even going to let you talk to Penn State. Why do you need the headache? You can go to UCLA. You can go to USC. Penn State is not going to be competitive. This team may be good, but it's not going to be competitive. It's going to take a very long time to build back up.
The players, and it's not the same thing. They're settled in. There's only 6 weeks at the beginning of the year or something, so teams already have their scholarships set up. I get that. They can transfer, assuming they find another partner there. Is Dominic right? Are the wrong victims penalized, or is there always collateral damage and stuff like this?
There's always collateral damage, and I think certainly in this case, I think the NCAA is doing the best it can to mitigate that damage to the young student athletes, to the players, upcoming players who unfortunately have committed to Penn State, and they are where they are now. I actually was a little bit surprised that they actually took action not that they took action this year, but that they took action for the upcoming season, because I thought they waited so long. They waited 8 months to do anything. Is it really proper, right, to now, what, a month before the season starts, just lay this out?
Start a mad scramble. Gerald, let me ask you 2 questions. One, you have apparently there's a players' coaches meeting today. You go in there. You walk out and they say, guys, we're not going to a bowl game for the next 4 years. And 2, our scholarships start next year. They're going to be cutting them down to 15, and you know the kind of player that's going to come there. It's not a 4-star recruit. Right. do you start working the phone right away to transfer or no?
Me personally, no. I would stay. I'd take it on as a challenge, which I know I would have to say majority of those kids in that room are going to do. It's an unfortunate situation, but I know what they've been built on and why they came to Penn State originally. They know what it's about, and I think that's why they'll stick it out.
Last question. I know you got Boyd play football, right? In fact, do camps and stuff. Imagine he's a senior now, right? He's figuring out where he's going to go next year. Right. Would you want him to still go to Penn State? You had a great experience there,
right.
But given the reality on the ground today,
I would, but I would listen to Coach O'Brien. If he came and wanted to talk to my son, I'd have my son listen to him. And if my son had interest in going to Penn State, we'd have to listen to what the expectations are going to be and how it's going to play out. And if he felt that was the best situation for him at that time,
yep.
I think I'd allow him to make that decision.